Are CBDCs going to be mainstream sooner than we think? Welcome back, everyone. Hope that you had a great weekend. This article out of Cointelegraph dropped on Friday, February 17th. Let's dive into it. Because Bitcoiners, as you know, we've been talking about CBDC for several years. And although we've had quite a few banks mention CBDC development, CBDC research, I haven't seen too much concrete information really coming out. And I think that now we are starting to see that. So here we go. The Bank of Japan to launch its CBDC pilot before May. Japan, a nation where foreign stablecoins like Tether are prohibited, plans to begin its central bank digital currency pilot in April 2023. On February 17th, the Bank of Japan released the opening speech of its executive director, Shinichi Ushida, at a CBDC committee meeting. In it, Ushida announces that the bank decided to launch a pilot program for digital yen in April after finishing its proof of concept testing, which began in 2021. The pilot test will continue to work on the technical feasibility of digital yen and extend the experiment to modeling a CBDC ecosystem with the participation of private companies. No actual retail transactions will be made during the pilot, only simulated ones. At least 3 Japanese megabanks and regional banks will collaborate with the Bank of Japan. Japanese authorities also consider lifting the ban on foreign stablecoins, which came into law in 2022. While they won't let any foreign stablecoin into the market automatically, the green light will be shown to those coins which successfully pass individual checks. So let's back it up over here and let's dive into the CBDC nuance that they provided, okay, that the Bank of Japan provided. Here we go. Here is the paper, which obviously I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes so everybody can read through it. Here we go. Taking the next step, opening remarks at the 5th meeting of the Liaison and Coordination Committee on Central Bank Digital Currency. Okay, so obviously we're not going to read through this entire document, because that's not the scope of this clip. But let's just take a look at the POC phase 1, right? POC being proof of concept, okay? And let's take a look at phase 2, okay? And these are this very important stuff, okay? Here we go. Phase 1, which started in April 2021, the bank built an experimental environment centered around the CBDC ledger, which is the foundation of a CBDC system. It confirmed that the basic transactions related to CBDC, or a series of transactions such as issuance, payout, and transfer, could achieve the processing performance required for frequent and low-value retail payments. I know, nothing burger, right? Here we go. POC phase 2. I'm just going to preface this. This is where it starts to get really freaking creepy and dystopian. Phase 2, beginning in April 2022, the bank implemented more complex and additional features of CBDC to the core functions explored in Phase 1 and investigated their technical feasibility and processing performance. While this phase is scheduled to continue through this March, we've already confirmed that the processing performance of the CBDC system can be maintained even with additional functions whose implementation is challenging. Here we go, guys. One such function is to check whether end users' CBDC holdings and transactions do not exceed the upper limit imposed on each, even when end users hold multiple accounts. So if I understood this correctly, okay, we're looking at a proof of concept, a phase 2 proof of concept, and one of the apparently in one of the earliest phases, one of the really important things to do is make sure that we can cap your account and you can't possibly spend more than your upper limit, even if you have multiple accounts that all add up to that amount, and you would be able to cover it. What is this? What is this strange obsession? I mean, I've thought about this, I don't know how many times, like, what is this creepy, strange obsession with stopping people from, putting in these arbitrary upper limits and deciding that people can't spend more than this? And the The mindfuck irony of all of this, okay, is that the bankers themselves have proven that they can't be trusted. We understand as Bitcoiners that these bankers are incompetent, and it's absolutely hilarious because a CBDC is essentially projecting their own incompetence. Like, they understand that they can't control themselves. They understand that they're too greedy, too power hungry, and they can't control themselves. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to bake this right into a CBDC. So, of course, rules for thee, and not for me. So they're okay. They're okay in their incompetence printing the money, but us, we need to be kept in check, the little peons, right? Anyways, that's my little rant on the bullshit about the banking system and the government. And it's also, this is the final piece to this, because keep in mind, with a CBDC, are banks really needed? I mean, let's be honest. If the government can create a department that simply runs the digital, the digital currency for the government, hosting servers and doing maintenance and whatnot, what the hell do you need a bank for? You don't need them at all, especially since it's all automated and digital. I mean, Bitcoin itself is proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that bankers are pretty much completely useless. They have to invent use cases for themselves to be relevant in a Bitcoin world. But anyways, there's a really interesting piece from Reuters that I want to finish this off with that I think it just goes to show, it goes to show that when the tide pulls back, everybody's swimming naked. Okay, guys, on the same day, there was an article that was dropped on Reuters, Japan to launch pilot program for issuing digital yen. The Group of Seven, or G7, advanced economies have sought to align themselves in their progress towards issuing CBDCs. In 2021, the group agreed that any digital currency issued by a central bank, and here we go, guys, must support and do no harm to the bank's ability to fulfill its mandate on monetary and financial stability. So I'm going to leave everybody with these final thoughts because this is something that sticks in my head and that I find absolutely frustrating. If you do a job very poorly, if you go to work every day and you do a very shitty job, you're going to lose that job. And that's going to be it. Just remember, as an individual, when you and I, when we mess up, and we mess up enough times, we lose our jobs. The bankers, the financial alchemists that they are, they devised a way to make it so that when they fail, we are the ones that get screwed. We are the ones that pick up that tab. We are the ones that are punished for bank incompetence. Okay? That's what happens under the guise of they're too big to fail. I don't think they're too big to fail, and this is something I've said in the past, and I still think it's true. They were never too big to fail, but they were always too big to bail. We needed to let them fail. We absolutely needed to let those banks collapse. We needed to allow the economy to go through a proper cycle.